Hello everyone. So in the last class, towards the end of our discussion, we were talking about treatment of special transactions, how these special transactions are dealt with in FIFO method, and we said that there are 4 different types of special transactions. One is pricing of returns to stores, pricing of returns to vendor, shortage of stock and surplus of stock. And we said that pricing of returns to store is shown in the receipt column, and if the date is mentioned, we have to take that date's unit price, otherwise it is priced at the oldest lot's price on that particular date when the receipt is made. Returns to vendor is shown in the issue column. Again, if the date is mentioned, we have to take the unit price of that particular date. If not, we have to take the oldest lot's price. Shortage of stock is shown in the issues column, and it is priced at the price of the oldest lot in stock, and surplus is shown in the receipt column, again at the price of the oldest lot in stock. So this is how these special transactions are dealt with in FIFO method. Now we will do a practical problem including all these transactions. We will see how these special transactions are entered in a store's ledger. So in this problem, we have been given details regarding the first 10 days of the month of June. So we will see how the entries are made in the store's ledger under the FIFO method. So they are saying that on 1st June 2020, we have an opening stock of 2000 units at rupee 10 per unit. So the value is 20,000 rupees. So on 1st June, we have 2000 units in our stores, which we bought for 10 rupees per unit, and the total worth of materials in our stores on 1st June is 20,000 rupees. And on 2nd June, the production department has asked us for 1000 units. So we will take 1000 units out of the opening stock, and the unit rate is 10, so 10,000. So the balance is, we had 2000 units in our stores, we took 1000 units for issuing it to the production department, so the balance is 1000 units at 10, so 10,000. Then on 3rd June, again the production department has asked us for 800 units, again at 10. So we have taken 800 units out of the 1000 units in balance. So on 3rd June, our balance is 200 units at 10, 2000 rupees. On 4th of June, we have 2 entries, and when 2 entries are given, you take it in the order in which it is given. So on 4th, first there is a purchase of 1500 units, GR number is not given, 1500 units at rupees 15 per unit. So we have materials worth 22,500 coming into our stores, and for the time being we will leave the issues column blank. So on that date we have 2 lots, 200 units at rupees 10 worth 2000, and 1500 rupees at rupees 15 per unit worth rupees 22,500 in our warehouse. And then on that same date itself, we have an issue, that is the production department is asking us for 400 units. So according to the first in first out method, first we will take from the first lot, that is 200 units at 10, 2000. They have asked us for 400 units in total, so we will take the remaining 200 from the second lot, 200 at 15, 3000. So that leaves us with 1300 units at rupees 15. So the value comes to 19,500. Then on 5th June, Again, the production department has asked us for issue of 320 units. So we are going to take 320 units from this lot. Unit price is 15. So the amount comes to 4,800. And we are taking 320 units out of it. So we have 980 units left at 15 and the value is 14,700. Then on 6th June, again we are making a purchase of 1000 units at rupees 20 per unit. So we have materials worth 20,000. On that day we don't have any other issues which are being made. So on 6th June we have two lots, 980 at 15 for 14,700 value and 1000 units which we just bought for 20 rupees, so 20,000 rupees. On 7th June, the production department has asked us for 1400 units. So we will make the issue first from the first lot according to the first out method. So we will use the first lot completely, 980 at 15 worth 4,700, and the remaining 420 units will be taken from the second lot, 420 at 20 worth 8,400. So we have completely exhausted the first lot. What is remaining is 580 units at rupees 20 and the value is 11,600. Then on 8th June, we have a special transaction coming in. They are saying that returned to vendor materials purchased on 6th June. We purchased materials 1000 units on 6th June at rupees 20 per unit, and on 8th we are returning 30 units back to the vendor. We had purchased on 6th June materials worth 1000 units at rupees 20, and because of some reason, maybe because it is not of the requisite quality or it is defective or because of some reason, on 8th June they are saying that we have returned 30 units back to the vendor out of the purchase made on 6th June. So we are returning it, so it is shown in the issues column, 30 units are being returned, and the date they have specified, the date in which this particular units which we are returning now, those units were bought at rupees 20 per unit. So we have to value them at rupees 20 per unit. So 600. So that leaves us with 550 units at 20 materials worth 11,000 rupees. So we entered the transactions till 8th June. The remaining transactions we are entering on this side. So they are saying that on 9th June, we received back from work order materials issued on 5th Jan. So on 5th Jan, we made an issue of 320 units at rupees 15 per unit. On 5th Jan, we made an issue of 320 units at rupees 15 per unit. So this was issued to the production department, and now because of some reason, maybe because they do not require 320 units because of some other reason, they are saying that the production department has returned to us 40 units. The production department has returned to us 40 units from the 320 units which we issued on 5th June. So because the production department is returning to us, we show it in the receipt column, 40 at 15 rupees per unit. So we have 600 rupees worth materials which were returned to us back from the production department. Now whenever we have a certain number of units returned from the production department, when we enter it in the balance column, we have to enter that first. So we know that on 9th we have 550 units worth rupees 20 per unit, the value 11,000 rupees. This lot is already available in our stores, But when we are returning, when we receive a certain number of units from the production department from an issue which has already been made, we have to enter that as the first lot. That has to be noted very carefully. You should not enter that after the existing lot. It has to be placed first, because the concept is that this is an old lot which we issued earlier. So, the next time when we issue, we should finish off this, and then only we should go to the lot which is already remaining in our stores. So, I repeat, they are saying that on 9th June, the production department is returning to us order certain number of units from the issue which we made on 5th June. So, on 5th June, if we look at the entry in the stores ledger, we had issued 320 units at rupees 15 per unit, and the production department on 9th June is returning back 40 units from that issue. So, we have to take that day's price itself, that is the day in which the issue was made, that unit price itself we should take. And because it is a return from the production department, we have to enter that in the receipt column. So, we have entered 40 units worth rupees 15 per unit, and the amount is 600 rupees. On that date, there are no other issues. And one thing to be noted is, whenever we have a returns from the production department, that should be placed first in the balance column, and then only should the existing lot be shown. So, we close that, and on 10th June, there is an issue of 500 units. So, the production department has asked us for an issue of 500 units. So, we will take the first lot, that is 40 units at 15, and they have asked us in total for 500 units. So, the remaining 460 units we will take from the second lot. So, we will return 9,200 rupees worth materials are being issued to the production. So, that leaves us with 90 units at rupees 20 worth 1,800. And then in the last line, it is said that on 10th Jan, when the stock was verified, it was found that the actual stock was more by 20 units. The actual stock was more by 20 units. So, on 10th Jan, the stock verifier is coming into our stores, and he is actually physically counting the number of units that are available in stores, and he found that on 10th Jan our balance is 90. But when he counted, he found that in stores there are 20 additional units which are lying there. That means we have a surplus stock. In actual, when the materials were counted, there are 20 additional units which are lying there, which have not been entered in our stores ledger. So, in order to correct that, we have to, so that means we have to increase this balance. Actually, we have 20 units more than what is being shown in the stores ledger. So, in order to correct that entry, we have to show that in the receipt column. The number of units are 20, and it has to be priced at the rate at which the material is available in balance. So, if there is one more lot here, for example, if there is a second lot here, say 10 units at 15, if there is a second lot there, then when we value the surplus, we have to take the first lot's price. Anyways, we just have one lot on 10th June, that is 90 units at rupees 20, and there is a surplus of 20 units. So, this has to be priced at 15 per unit. So, 300. So, the total number of units will be 90 units at 20, 1,800, and the 30 units surplus which we did, a 20 unit surplus, which is like an adjusting entry which we have made to correct the balance, physically verified balance and the stores ledger balance. Sorry, this rate is 20 because the amount lying here is 20 rupees. So, 20 and this amount is 400. So, 400. So, this is on 10th June, this is our closing balance. If we want, because the unit rate of both the lots are same, if we want, we can club it together and write as 110 units at 20. We can write it like that, or we can show as two separate lots. It's okay. So on 10th June, our closing balance is 110 units at rupees 20 per unit. This is our balance on 10th June 2020. So this is how special transactions are dealt with in the FIFO method. So one thing to specifically remember is whenever there is a return from the production department, that should be shown as the first lot. If you place that as a second lot, your problem will go wrong and your closing stock value and the rates will differ. So please do keep that in mind, that whenever there is a returns from the production department, that has to be placed as the first lot, and next day if there is an issue, we have to issue based on the FIFO principle that first lot has to be completely exhausted, only then can we go into the second lot. And then on the last day there was a surplus. That means that when the stock verifier counted the number of materials, there were 20 additional units in actual which were in stores, but our stores ledger is short of 20 units. So in order to correct that balance, we are showing the surplus in the receipt column, and what we do is on that same day we look at the balance of balance column and we see at what rate the materials, the existing materials, existing lots are there, the unit price of the existing lot. At that unit rate we have to price the surplus. So we have 20 units surplus and it will be priced at 20 per unit and the amount is 400 units. So in total we have 110 units at rupees 20 per unit. So our closing stock on 10th June is 110 units at rupees 20 per unit. So this is how special transactions are dealt with in the FIFO method. We will deal with LIFO method in the next class. Thank you.